All right, welcome back to my channel, The Awakening for Life, where we simply provide the representation for the underdog. I will be your host, Nay, with a lot to say. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. And as always, entrepreneurship is life. Yes. So I just got through doing my jobs for the day, heading back to the house. But I got a little time for the drive. Very excited to get this one off. And today I'm going to go ahead and cook up a topic called penalty. Penalty. And I've been excited about this one because this one should be able to resonate more like to the younger crowd. But it can also apply to life in general. So what is the penalties when it comes down to football? Well, let's see. Football life. Let's put the two together, see what we got. And so a penalty in football may consist of pass interference, offsides, illegal formation, roughing the passenger, intentional grounding. There's a lot of factors that come into play, a lot of variables, right? And so when an offense starts its drive, it starts off with the 1st and 10. But if you're undisciplined, now that 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15. If you continue to be undisciplined, the 1st and 15 is now the 1st and 25. And now you're realizing you got 3 factors that are against you. Number 1 is time. Number 2 is your playbook. You're looking at the playbook and you realize that you don't have the necessary plays in order to make up this kind of yardage. And number 3, well, if you look at yourself and the people you surround yourself around with, you realize that you don't have a team that can get you from point A to point B in order to convert to another first down. So instead, you go 1, 2, 3 and you punt the ball. 1, 2, 3, punt the ball. 1, 2, 3 and punt the ball. And one must ask, well, how does this make sense to actual life? I'm glad that you asked. I'm glad, because I'm ready for this one. Well, a yard makes a difference if you want to succeed in your goals, succeed in your ambitions. The yard could be the difference between success and failure. Let's take it back, shall we, when it comes to sports. Back then in the 2000s, of course, you had the St. Louis Rams versus the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers, and I think the St. Louis Rams are now present day are the LA Rams, something along the lines. But back in the day, them two teams managed to make it to the Super Bowl. And both teams came ready to play. First quarter went by, second quarter, third quarter, and now the fourth quarter comes now. 2 minutes remaining to the end of regulation. The Titans got the ball. They marched down the field. Everybody probably thought they had it in the bag, but not so fast. As the last pass that was thrown, the receiver caught the ball, and he was 1 yard away from scoring the touchdown. That touchdown was needed in order to win the game. Hadn't they scored, they would have been crowned the Super Bowl champions. But the St. Louis Rams was declared the Super Bowl champions that year. So it took that 1 yard of all they needed in order to win the game, and instead they fell short. Let me give you another example. The Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. Both teams were really good. I mean, really dominant. And again, these two teams faced off in the Super Bowl, came to play. But now it came down to the wire. Oh boy, it came down to the wire. It was like a nail biter, pretty much. And now we're at the 5-yard line. I can't remember the placement of the ball, but we was at the either the 1 or the 5-yard line, somewhere along the lines, where Marshawn Lynch was the running back. And I'm speaking we, like I played part of the team, but You get what I'm saying? So you had a guy by the name of Marshawn Lynch, which is known as Beast Mode. And Beast Mode was dominating. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks, they dominated. I mean, they had a defense that was nasty, that was ugly, that came to play. I mean, they was ready. They was ready to go. And Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks, instead of using beast mode to run the ball in, he decides that he's going to throw the ball. Mind you, all they needed was maybe 2, 3, 4 yards in order to convert for a touchdown and win the game. But instead, they was undisciplined and they got away from what got them there. And so they started to throw the ball. The ball's in the air. What happened? New England Patriots got stepped right in time, intercepted. The game is over, declaring the New England Patriots the Super Bowl champions. And so how does this relate to life? Let me take it a step further. Every time we are undisciplined, we jump off sides, or we in our emotions, we're losing time, we lose yards. The yards that we need in order to become productive in the things that we aspire to be. So, for example, for those who run the street life, already in society, you're considered the underdog. Whenever you've been in and out of the system, you are considered the underdog. So coming out and going forward, the mistakes have to be limited. We have to be disciplined going forward because we're already trying to play catch up. We're trying to recuperate from lost time. But some people, they get sentenced to jail for a year. Okay, so it's 1 yard turns into 1st and 11. Depending on the severity of the crime, the judge may pretty much strike the mallet, sentence a person to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, and so forth. Instead of looking at the first down that's manageable, now you're playing from 3rd and 4th down. And remember I said that you got to look into the playbook and you're not sure that you have the right kind of plays in order to make up this kind of yardage? People that are in the penitentiary, time stops while the world keeps moving. So now, it's 2025, and let's say a person's been in since 2015, that's 10 years. And if the mindset is stunted, if the mindset is limited, the playbook is going to be limited. The growth is going to be limited. So then when said person gets out, they got to try to do the same thing, except everything is advanced now. Everything's on code. Everything's on point. Now you got to figure out how to play catch up with the little bit of time that you have. And if you've been down for 10 years and, you're 20, now you're getting out at 30. Committed another mistake. Next time it'll be 20 years. So now we're looking at 50. And if you got the 3 strike law, now you're in there for life. So when it comes down to the discipline, this is what I mean. It becomes a factor. We don't want to rake up the penalties. The penalties set us backwards. And the truth is, we're all living on borrowed time. Now, for some people, they learn and then they work at their discipline. They work at their goals, their dreams, their ambitions, the things that they're trying to get to. They work at it. And that makes them ahead of the game. That makes the person ready. Yeah. Makes you ready and willing. You ever look at a Roomba? The Roomba's job is to clean the floors. The main design of the Roomba. Well, let's say you got a Roomba that pretty much is malfunctioned. So it goes around in circles or it just keeps running into the wall, It's basically taking away its purpose for cleaning said house, right? So when we're undisciplined and we get these penalties, we take away our ability for what we're supposed to do and how we can be an inspiration or a lesson to the world. And I say that in a positive note because that varies with a person's upbringing, where a person has come from. So I'm just basically just stating, depending on where a person has come from. So the game doesn't look the same to everybody. But for those who understand, you get my drift. And so we ask ourselves, do we really want to play from behind, or do we want to get caught up and pretty much do what we have to do? And sometimes, right, we have committed to all these penalties in life that sets us back and back and back. And then when we finally get it, remember, borrowed time kicks in. And then when we want to make strides, then it's inner regulation, which means it's end of your life. So when you're just starting to say, okay, yeah, man, I really want to get that business. Unfortunately, sometimes life isn't going to afford you the time because the time has been spent accumulating penalties. Now, when it comes down to undiscipline, many of you are the quarterback. Yeah. You're the quarterback of your life. And rather than study life, we're missing practices. We're not studying the film. We're not studying how life operates so we can get an advantage in the game. Because this is all about playing the game to the fullest. It's about maximizing our potential. Yeah. When we maximize our potential, we get good results. So the unpreparation brings us to the big game. Look at the crowd. Some of them wearing your jerseys. You know, everybody with the rah, rah, rah. And you got that complacency in you, right? And you saying to yourself, I got this in the bag. This ain't gonna be nothing. You come up here ready. You feel like you king of the world now because you didn't hit that iron. You're like, oh, I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. And then you got to play a tough team. Lack of preparation, that's going to be the downfall, but you never see it coming. So because you refuse to look at film, because you refuse to show up at the practices, you don't know what life is going to hit you. Life is the defense, so it's going to send all kind of blitz packages your way. It might be coming up the gut. It may be coming from the left or the right. It may disguise the coverage. And you will never see it coming. All of a sudden, every time you drop back and pass, rather than change the play for your benefit, you get laid out on your back. You get back up, you shake it off. And this is happening all game long. What you think is going to start happening? You're going to start hearing noises that's not even there, footsteps. The defense they already got to you once or twice. So they feel like this is going to be a field day for them. They looking at you like a glazed honey bun going in the microwave. They saying to you, oh, I want you. Oh, I want you bad. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. Because the defense is hungry. They wanted more than you because you didn't take the time to prepare. So now we're fumbling the ball. Now we're throwing interceptions. Now we're getting out of pocket. Now our emotions are starting to be a factor in the game. The wrong kind of emotion. Now, there's a movie that I was watching called The Prison Song. Very good movie. I'll send the link to it. If you got the time, be sure if you want to watch something along the lines. I know a lot of people like watching the prison movies, but one of the actors said when a person gets mad, person gets emotional, they wind up in prison. And that stuck out to me ever since, which is why I'm utilizing this in the video here. Your percentage of your past completions of your goals starts to drop. You start looking around at your team. You're looking at the head coach. The head coach is calling the plays. For some reason, you holding on to the ball too long. You got 1, 2, 1, 2, You ain't even going through your progressions. Receiver 1, 2, 3. And obviously, when you throw the ball, what they always tell you, never throw the ball the way you looking. Sometimes you got in order to hit your receiver, in order to get a completion. So, what am I saying? Discipline teaches us that in order to become successful, there are sacrifices that have to be made. So we don't incur the penalties by becoming emotional. The irrational thought process. And there's a lot of things right now that life is throwing because of the state of the world. Life is sending many people blitz packages. Many people are getting blitz and they don't know how to handle it. Preparation teaches us, wait a minute, we got to study this a little closer. That's how championships are won, through proper execution and strategy. Yeah. And I'm trying to find a moment to basically go out here and to say that some of you are very good at executing. For example, there's a test that's up. You need this test. You need to qualify on this test because this test is going to help you get your license. It's going to help you move forward. It's going to give you everything that you need to have to become even a better version of yourself. So when your friends come by and they start knocking on the door, hey, can you come out and play? Or run in these clubs, discipline tells you, I'm good. I got work to do. I'm working towards my future than my past. Because let's face it, the people who have the most amount of discipline and limit their mistakes are the people that can win championships. Otherwise, you'll be the one at the end of the Super Bowl with a towel on your head like this, crying, trying to hide the fact that you're crying because you'll waste a lot of time. See what I mean? Now, I'm not saying it's to make fun, but I'm saying everything goes hand in hand with proper procedure equals the proper preparation, I guess, to throw it out there. I know a little something. So, what our coaches do, our mentors, the people who we surround ourselves with, wise counsel, they put us onto the game effectively to teach us what we're going to need to be prepared out here. How we're going to be able to handle the game called life. How we're going to be able to handle the players on the team. We're going to have to handle every aspect if we want to see a rise in our percentage, a rise in our growth. So I just want to let everyone know from this point, keep striving. Stay disciplined because time waits for nobody. The more penalties we have, the more work we have to do. I got a bug in here. I'm gonna open the portal so he can get on out of here. There you go. I had him this morning. I left my door open. I had to go and run in the house real quick to go get something. And then lo and behold, I had a bunch of mosquitoes in here and they've been flying around. So I tried to make this video first thing in the AM, but I couldn't make it to the quality of what I wanted to make it. But I'm back nonetheless. Discipline, not giving up. Just keep going. And no matter what the world throws at you, I know it can be overwhelming and can be tough. However, this will be something that I can recommend. Pretend that you're a head coach. Pretend you're a quarterback. If you like the game of football, and utilize it to learn the lessons in order to navigate. Okay, so for example, life is going to throw me this package, then I need to counter it by taking preventative measures. So essentially, if the defense is going to call blitz, then I need to call a screen pass. I need to use the defense aggression against them in order to move effectively down the field so I can move forward to gain the yards. Because it's about making it to the red zone, eventually into the end zone, 1 yard at a time. Control the game or the game controls you. Let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. As always, I'll see y'all next time.